I'm Sophie Liard, and today I've been challenged to break down gift wrapping into 11 levels of complexity. As we go through these levels, just remember this is going to take some practice, so don't give up. As a disclaimer, this is my interpretation of the challenge. Level 1, box and bow. We're going to have 3 versions of this level. We're starting with the box and bow because it's the easiest one to master. It's also probably the one that people would use the most. So a box is the same measurement every time. The paper should go just over halfway up the side and then cover the top of the gift. That's how you would measure. And this applies to all sizes. I don't worry about whether my scissors are cutting a straight line or not. I will just tidy it up by folding the edge of the paper over before I start wrapping. Just straightens everything out. You're just going to cover the box from left to right. Over the top, just a little bit of overlap. Add a piece of tape here. Fold the sides in until you get to your last side of the box. For a box, I'm just happy to use standard tape. So when you're doing a ribbon, you have one long side and one short side. So make sure you measure it correctly. Without cutting the roll first. So here's another method. It will measure exactly the same, but it will be a different technique on the side. Tidy it up by folding the edge of the paper over. Left fold, right fold, tape. And then when you get to the side, you're going to fold a diagonal line and then crease your sides, and that would make your box look super, super sharp. So just make sure your paper really hits the side. And the same when you're going in now, you're going to take the paper right into the box before you crease. Fold up, tape. You can decorate it with a nice bow. It feels natural for me to hold it. Top corner, short side, holding with my thumb. You're going to go over one corner, then under the next, then over the next corner, then under the next, and that should bring you back to the middle. Another thing that helps with bows is if you keep your loops really small, then you can always make them bigger afterwards. This is like when you found that one present you haven't wrapped and you've got one tiny bit of paper left and it doesn't fit. And it's not the neatest of wraps, but it's that I'll go to the shop, so we will do this. You're just going to turn it on an angle. And then it should fit. It's just a great way if you've just got a little bit of paper left and you've still got a gift left. It's quite likely that a box will fit if you turn it at a diagonal. Next up, level 2, sweater. The difference with dealing with a box versus a sweater is that your box has nice, flat, hard sides that we don't have on clothing. So to fold the sweater, you're going to fold in the sides and fold down the arms, and then fold the bottom up and then fold the top. Folding with tissue is my absolute fave. If the tissue paper is too small, it doesn't matter. You just layer it across on the table, overlap your second piece, and it will still wrap in exactly the same way. What you're going to do first is just fold the paper over the sweater and then tuck in each of the ends into the sweater. Level 3, the book. So the books are a higher level because you can do quite complex wraps with them, just purely because of the shape. They're kind of a box, but they're very flat. We're going to have 3 versions of this level. The paper should go just over halfway up the side. I just measure it by lining it up with the side of the book. It's going to come right over the book like this. So after we've measured out the paper, the first fold is to make your card slot. It's essentially just quite a big pleat. And really from there on, you can just wrap your book as we've taught you in level 1. Right fold, left fold, add a piece of tape, fold down, fold up, card slot, and you can decorate it with a nice bow. With the second book wrap, we've changed the shape of the card slot, same kind of measurement as before. You're going to fold a diagonal line and then fold up. The best paper to use, especially if you're starting, get some wrapping paper that has a real abstract pattern on, and that way you're not going to have to worry about whether the lines are straight. This is the front of the gift, so you want to put the bottom down first, because then from the top this bit will sit that way, and if you do it the other way you'll be able to see it from the top. The detail, my boss always used to say, retail is detail. And then use a corner bow, which will sit flush against the shape of your card slot and just all ties in really nicely. Pleating can go many places. You can make your pleats any width you like. It's not quite the right size. You can open your paper back up and re-pleat. I mean, I do that all the time. If you're just starting with pleating, I would recommend starting with vertical pleats and practicing with those, and then you can change to diagonal pleats, which are really fun. It's nice to keep your pleats nice and tight. I'll just turn it over. We don't want to see the tape. We don't want tape on our beautiful pleats, so we use double-sided so it's hidden underneath the wrap. Tape that down and then you wrap the sides. Level 4, stocking stuffers. So things that work really good for the gift wrap method is items like this. So they've got shape here, and then a shape here. I would definitely be wrapping little cuddly toys in there, just because look, they're just an awkward shape. So you're gonna fold the paper into thirds, and to measure it, just make sure your paper covers the gift that you're wanting to put in the bag. We use double-sided tape. Then you're gonna make the bottom of the bag by folding the paper up and then pushing in the sides. Tape. Then you're going to move to the sides of the bag. You're going to fold those in so they meet the corners of the bottom. Then you're going to fold it all out and making sure you put the gift in the bag. You can then start to close your bag up. You're going to fold a diagonal right and then left. And you can decorate it with a nice bow. Tape here. So multiple items, cuddly toys, awkward shapes, also tiny things like cosmetics. They're also really, really difficult to wrap. You can make a little gift bag and put all 3 in the gift bag as well. Level 5, cubes. So a cube, all the sides are the same area. With the boxes that we did in level 1, there was always one side shorter than the other. So it was a slightly different type of wrap. If you were going to wrap your cube with a standard wrap, then you would absolutely use the same measurements as a box, which we showed you in level 1. But for the top of the box, we will need some extra paper. So we've just cut a little bit extra for the top of the box. Create your shapes by folding the paper into the middle. Start with one side. You're going to fold up. You'll do this for all 4 sides. You just go around your cube and folding into the middle, fold into the middle. And it just gives you this beautiful, kind of like a fire swirling shape on top of the cube. That's perfectly symmetrical. Level 6, box with no tape. To start with the no tape method, you do need to get the right measurements. And this time you're going to measure on a diagonal and make sure the corners go over the top of the box on both sides. It's definitely easier to use a thinner paper, so shop bought paper. You need a lot of flexibility in it. What can go wrong is so many things. For me personally, it's usually the measurements. If you've got the measurement just too wrong, not just slightly wrong, that's absolutely fine. But if you've got a massively wrong measurement of paper, it will make the wrap so much harder. You're going to start with one corner and just make sure it comes over the box and it just hits those top 2 corners. And then to start the sides, you're going to run your nail from the box all the way out. And this is just to give the paper some creasing, and that will make it a lot easier for you to then do your next fold. And the next fold, you're then going to fold the sides in and fold your next corner over the box. And you're going to repeat this on the following corner until you get to your last side of the box. Level 7, cookie tin. This will work for all cylinders this level. Think about pillar candles maybe, anything that's that type of shape where you've got a cylinder and then a flat top and a flat bottom. So you're going to measure, the paper should go just over halfway up the sides. Tape. My tip to make sure all your pleats are the same size is just to use your finger in between each pleat when you're pulling the paper towards the center. Just remember you're repeating the action. Turn your shape, repeat, but use your finger to get the pleat the right size. If you want a bigger pleat, then you're going to put 2 fingers down. If you want even bigger, you can put 3. It'll just help you get really even sized pleats all the way around. Once you've done your first one, just repeat it on the next one, repeat on the next one, and you'll get it beautifully the same until you get to the end. Level 8, the candle. This is just fun, yeah? And quite often candles have got funny lids or they're kind of going out in a funnel type shape. So this is just a great way to wrap it up and make it look really fun. We've got the shape that we need. Start with one side and then fold the bottom up. The tricky part is definitely cutting the corners so you get the right shape to be able to tie the ends with your ribbon. I quite like to class myself as a home gift wrapper, so kind of like a home baker. Everything with gift wrapping can be trial and error, can be practice, and you can start again. Level 9, the wine bottle. I feel like with the wine bottle, we give wine as a gift so often. There's no way to wrap this without knowing we're taking wine. So I tend to encourage people just to wrap it as the wine bottle. Tissue paper is the easiest to use when doing the wine bottle, and I would highly recommend using it. I held on to it. You could at some point tape it, I guess, but it's nice to keep your pleats nice and tight, and even if it does fall, it's easy to put back together. That's the beauty of tissue paper. We're using a bow, we're using pleats, so there is some technique involved, and let's face it, it's a very odd shape, but it's a gift that's given often, so it deserves a little wrap. Level 10, soccer ball. I just realised how I never say that word. Level 10, football. Yeah, this was super unusual and I appreciated the challenge on this one. You've not only got a sphere, but you've got it in a triangle box. Whoever designed this obviously didn't want it to be gift wrapped. So it's a slight variation on the gift bag, this level. It just has a little bit different finish. So you're gonna fold the paper into thirds. Then you're gonna make the bottom of the bag by folding the paper up, making sure you put the gift in the bag the way we turned it on its side. It's just a completely different shape, but the premise is the same. Level 11, tennis racket. I love a challenge. And I thought, okay, so what shapes have we got? So what we do is we break down the tennis racket into different shapes. And what we've got is the top of the tennis racket with the strings, which is a round shape. And then we've got the bottom, which is kind of like a pole, I would say. What I would think about is wrapping the top half first and then moving on to the bottom half using the same paper, but 2 separate sheets, and then bringing it together. We actually pleated the top half of the racket, which I thought looked very lovely. And then we brought the paper down to the bottom. And then we used part of the gift bag method to be able to wrap the handle of the tennis racket, because actually the handle isn't quite a straightforward shape, neither round or has sides. So the gift bag method was a really good one. And then we just were able to connect them together. I think it just turned out really nice. I hope that anyone who gets all the way to level 11, I really hope that you take away the repetitive techniques that you can use for the different shapes, and that you can see when you pick up your next gift, what technique you can match to wrap that gift. And if you don't get it first time, or you don't get it second, third, or fourth time, know that that's happened to me too, and practice makes perfect. Thank you so much for watching.